over to Zara.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Best Buddy Reads. I think this is our third. We are on a bit of a roll. We'll see what life does after this as I head off back to work. Hopefully, we can keep our weekend reviews on
Yes,
going.
going.
I will also be traveling, a lot, so I'll have lots of reading time, which is a bit of a blessing. So, yeah, should actually make
Bonus.
it better.
Fingers
But
crossed.
last time we got together, we obviously did the wonderful, magical, brilliant Eldritch by Kerry Lake, and it was Shan. That was my choice, and Shan chose the next buddy read. So, Shani, what was our buddy read? What did we read? Maybe why? Why this one?
Moving on. So it was called A Vow of Shadows by Elle Blackstowe. I think that's how you say her name.
Yeah.
Um, and I can't remember, but somebody recommended it. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. And it was a bit of a unique premise in that I don't think I've read one where someone makes a deal with the Farrier of Death to hide from death. And I thought, you know what? And because it said it was like based on Welsh mythology, I was like, that sounds really interesting. Let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? Dive in. So in we dove. I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure which part of it was based on Welsh mythology because I did some Googling and I still don't know.
Still a mystery. Maybe the next book
Still
I'll
a mystery.
uncover it.
But yeah. But yeah. So that's where we are.
Very succinct. I enjoyed it. As always, if you are reading, it's 6 a.m. here, so if I sometimes mix up my words, I am postmenopausal, I am a mother of a 3-year-old, I don't really sleep, and it's 6 a.m. on a Sunday. If you're listening to this and you haven't read the book and you want to read the book, go and read the book first because we are going to do a fair amount of spoilers, if not all the spoilers that could ever be spoiled.
All the spoilers.
So please, I'm going to give you the usual 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time for spoilers. It's spoiler time. So yeah, please come back and listen once you've read it. Because we would love to hear your opinions as well. Obviously, we
Yes,
can't
yes.
hear your opinions because it's a podcast and we're not that stupid. But you know it.
But you can visit us on social media
That's right. Yes, you can.
and tell us there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Shani, I'm just gonna kick it off with what were your first impressions before you started the book?
Before I started the
Yeah, and then give us a brief, did they match when you ended the book?
So before I started the book, I thought it was going to be quite a rich world, like proper romantasy, kind of like your Anathemas, that kind of feel about it, set in sort of oldie worldy times, but not necessarily in our actual real world.
Yeah.
Um, and then thrown deep into a fantasy land, the between where the farrier lives and all that stuff. So I thought it was going to be a very rich world building kind of story. I'm not sure it had that actual feel in the writing for me. So I think my expectation versus my experience were a little bit different, but we'll come to that. Zara, what were your first impressions?
I was probably similar. I kind of expected more of the magical and the fantasy. Like I was expecting a bit more. I knew when I first started it that there was clearly that we start in the mortal world, and so no one had. She was marked, but couldn't quite work out sort of why. And the dad was kind of upset, and so I knew there wasn't going to be. So there wasn't like a mortal magical element, like some of the worlds that you go into, and then when she crossed over, I expected there to be more in that world.
Mm.
And that was actually a barren wasteland of characters. There was literally like 3.
3 characters, yeah.
And so I got to about 50% through and thought, I don't think this is what I thought it was going to be. And then I did have to do the whole, do I like it? Like, am I enjoying it? and I thought, "No, I am actually enjoying it." Like, interestingly, minus all that, I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the story. So, yeah, I didn't feel it wasn't one of those ones where you're like, "Oh, I can't. This is just gonna
Yeah.
be like a dead end." Blah, like, yeah. But do you know what I did keep thinking is, I think Sarah would have been okay with
Oh
this
my god.
one.
Right. I think the same because I even wrote in my review that it feels like a period historical romance.
It does. It
That's what it
feels
feels like with a paranormal element, not paranormal, but a
yeah,
fantasy element.
it
But
feels
it does, it feels
very
like a
much
period drama.
of the, like, Jane Austen and don't get me wrong, like, Ellen Blackstowe, you're a fantastic writer, but you obviously we can't compare you to those literary like, you know what I mean? Like, no
Classics.
offense, but it did have that kind of Wuthering Heightsy. It's like if Wuthering Heights had the afterlife in it or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had a bit of
I
that about it.
absolutely had the same feeling.
Yeah, and I was literally like, "Oh, Shani Dick, like, why didn't you pick this for book club?" And we might have actually got Sarah halfway towards a fantasy. So,
I never would have
yeah.
thought reading that synopsis though that that would have been the one for Sarah.
No,
Like,
well, no, and this goes back to a bit of my point, to be honest, that I made in the Obsidian review that we did, which is like, I do think we gotta get a bit better with those because I know you're trying to lure people in and all of that kind of stuff, but, like, I still think there's a huge audience for this that will miss it totally because they'll go, "Oh, it's one of those, like, fantasy and it'll have
yeah,
dragons."
that's
Yeah, so when I write my proper review of it, I think I'm gonna write that.
historical romance, yeah, then
Yeah,
it's all for you.
like, I might even recommend it to my mum, you know,
Yeah,
'cause she quite likes that kind of things. Yeah,
and it's
it was definitely
yeah,
not as expected. Not as expected.
no, same.
So, Shani, what are your thoughts? What's your inner working thoughts about the book overall? And then we might
Overall.
talk a little bit about the world.
So, the writing itself was decent. I did like the way she, her prose, and I thought her writing was engaging, and I wasn't like, "Oh god, I'm so bored. What's happening next?" Like, nothing's happening. But not a lot did actually happen. Well, I mean, it did and it didn't, but it didn't. And there were so many times when I was like, I don't understand the logic here. I don't like what was the thought process? Not necessarily for the author, although yes, the author because she wrote it, but for the characters. Like, how did Catherine think that a man who works for death would be able to hide her from his employer in the world where she could be found quite easily? I didn't understand that thought process. I didn't understand the thought process of the whole reason she went to go and, live with the farrier for a year was to hide from death, but she keeps accompanying him into the mortal world to like ferry souls. So like again, like but where was the logic? What is the thought process here? And I had so many moments of going, what? Why? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Had quite a lot of those moments. How did you feel about it?
Do you know, I actually quite liked it. I surprised myself a little bit. I think maybe because I've been pretty much solely in the fantasy, romantasy worlds for a good bit now, like between Eldritch, Metal Slinger, and a few others. Obsidian. We'll loosely add that to the pile. Um, and so I've kind of been in that space. And once I got over there isn't really like a world in here. It's kind of a
No.
nothing in between space where there's just nothing. I quite enjoyed it, but I really had to like suspend a lot of disbelief for this
Yeah.
one, which I think I said this again in the Obsidian. I do struggle when something sort of half bridges reality or like the everyday. And the good thing was this was kind of a ye olde world to your to use your word.
Yeah.
It was an older time, and
Yeah.
so
So
there
it's
was
not our world
yeah, so it was
as
all
we know.
like on mobile phones and crap like that, which I really struggle with. But
Yeah.
I just for the first half, I just had so many questions. Like I was like, it can't just be him. And I know that later on that he explains that, but, like, for ages, I was
Yeah.
like, "He can't be the only." He would literally be o run off his feet. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
and he's
be the
going out,
only.
like, once every few nights.
Yeah, like, okay.
Does no one die?
Um, I was like, well, number one, he can't be the only farrier. I had the exact same question you did, which is when she crosses over with him originally, he says something to the effect of like, "Death knows where I am all the time,"
Yeah,
and I'm like, why have you decided to attach yourself to the guy who's you're trying to hide from knows exactly where he is like all the time?
all the time.
And then I think the whole like her under not understanding, but like where did she get this idea from? Wasn't explained, so I was like, "Where's this come from? Like, where have you just
Where did she
decided?"
get the idea from? Yeah.
Because there's a lot talked about with her dad, right? And I was like, it would make more sense if there was a book or something that she found in that library and it mentioned this.
Yeah.
So I was a bit
Yeah.
like, "I don't know how you've got this idea." And then, bit like you, why do you keep going back with him? Like, and why can't people see you? Because you're
Yes!
not the farrier. You're just
No,
with the farrier. So why
that got
can
me.
why can the dead people see you, but why can the living people not see you? Like,
Not see you.
there's
When
no.
she went to run over to those 2 guys and the one's dead and the one's alive, and she's shouting, I thought she was shouting to the living one because I thought, well, because she's alive
Yeah,
still, it'll be the living one that'll see and hear her, but why is she shouting to the living one? Because that's a weird thing to do.
because they can't see apparently they can't see. And then,
But they can
at the
see her.
end, the farrier says, "I'll take you to your mother later." Well, what how?
Yeah.
And then when she crossed over on her own, they can see her.
Yeah.
So many questions,
Yeah.
so many questions.
This is where the logic thing doesn't hold up.
Yeah, um, and again, I think and let's be really clear, we read books where you need to suspend all logical, like because
All disbelief.
a dragon comes and
Dragons.
bonds with someone and they can hear each other's thoughts, and you and I are like, "Makes total sense, stacks up, I
Yeah.
get it, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, perfectly written."
Yeah.
And now we're here saying like, "But why can't they see?" But it's that
It's true though.
it's that between worlds thing where because
Yeah.
you've given us a bit of reality, now we're gonna attach ourselves to it. We're like, "Yeah, but
But
why?"
also, it's not explained. So, like with the whole dragons thing, it's explained, right?
Mm,
Even though the explanation is total fantasy,
yeah,
it's still an explanation.
yeah,
Whereas we don't know why the dead can see her when she's with the farrier, but the living can see her when she's not.
no, never explained. I
So it
think
just,
his story as
yeah,
and, like, we'll talk about the characters in a minute, but, like, again and his story of why he's there and why he's a farrier, I just struggled with that again, I have so many questions, like, desperately wanna be with this person, so you're willing to, like, not anyway, it was a whole thing, we'll come back to that, but yeah,
circle back.
however, having said all of that, once I kind of let that all go, I did actually quite enjoy it. I was like, "This is quite cute." There's here's this girl who's had absolutely, like, no real exposure to friends, to love, to lovers, to, like, anything other than her parents. She's quite brave to do what she did, and she's kind of a bit, like, sort of exploring her own self a little bit. I loved
Yeah.
the shadows, I thought they were great.
Yeah.
Um
That was Inky and Storm, her little sentinels. I thought they were really
Yeah.
cute.
They were the first kind of, I guess, flag that she was something a bit more than potentially
Yeah.
we thought. I actually started to like the in between or the between, sorry, desolateness and the calm and the fact, the way she described it, like no wind, no noise, like you could kind of feel that. You could feel that it was quite a isolated place, but that house felt a bit warmer. I
Yeah.
had a lot of questions about how the horses got there, but I'll put those to one side. How'd they get into that bit? Excuse
They
me.
also owed Death some money.
Yeah, um, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cute love story.
That, yes, for me was like, excuse me, was like the book that we read was a period drama with fantasy elements. And then the reason why she's marked is a proper romantasy, deep, high fantasy, high stakes fantasy situation. And those are two very different things. And going from book one, which feels like what we've just read, like something Sarah would enjoy, to then book two potentially taking this really deep dive, it doesn't feel cohesive.
No. And it feels like
And
the next book is gonna feel very different to the first.
yeah, like a completely different series. How the fantasy thing feels like the next book's going to be real different. That's all.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that the between was not nicely written. Like, you definitely get the
Mm.
sense of isolation, and it was one that's it was the same as earlier, like, where I was like, number one, you can't have one Reaper, so where are all the other Reapers? And, like,
Yeah.
yeah, there was just it probably created more questions than it answered. And then the thing that annoyed me and what I kind of hoped that she would have done is given us like glimpses into the afterworld, because
Yeah.
we obviously meet Moira, we meet Annie, we meet Death. They're all like quite big characters, and Annie is otherworldly. Like, she is a creature. She's not even remotely human, other
A
than I
person.
think she
Yeah.
stands on two legs. Like, I think that's the only human part of her.
Yeah.
So they obviously come from a fairly interesting world. So what does that look like? Like, we don't ever see it. And so there was a
No,
part of me that was like, again, it feel because obviously how it ends, she's obviously going there pretty
it would have been good foreshadowing to see a glimpse of it or to be told about it
yeah,
in some way before she goes there in the next book.
I agree. Because again, it's gonna feel like a totally new book because it's gonna be like
A
a
totally
whole
new
new
book,
world,
completely
I
different story.
imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no kind of build up to that declaration by fate. There's no explanation about why her. So again, you're just kind of left in a bit of a void of yeah, of world. So again, I I'm comparing it to like a high fantasy romance, and so that's probably not fair. If you're someone who enjoys a love story with some fantastical elements to it, then yeah, I think you wouldn't necessarily have those kind of questions. You'd be quite forgiving of it. I think maybe because you and I, we do like we like the big world building, like the deep, rich characters and all that stuff. We've probably got a few more questions than necessarily, and so that's why when I score, you'll note that that's why I've scored it. I've taken all that away and just thought, did I actually just enjoy the story if I take away all of my like, well, that shouldn't happen in a fantasy romance book, like I'm some sort of expert.
You are now.
Nearly, I swear to God. Shani, were there any characters that you absolutely loved, and were there any characters that you absolutely detested?
I loved Inky and Storm,
Yeah.
and they didn't even have any lines.
They didn't say anything.
Two characters that were literally shadows. Had no thoughts, no inner monologue, no lines. They were the best. They were the best. I actually really liked Sam as well. I thought he was really charismatic and quite fun, bit mischievous, and I think he was a good friend to God, what's his name? Evander. Even though Evander never really saw him that way, I think Evander was just really isolated himself and thought, this is it. This is my life. I live in this big empty manor. Just circling back to the manor. Why is it that his home that he had with his wife, why was that his home in the between? Why was, and like their bedroom preserved the way it had been as well? Just, anyway, more questions.
Yeah, because then you would imagine that Sam's house is his
Yeah,
house.
his tiny little house was the house that he lost his wife and child.
That's not confirmed either. So, yeah,
No.
I agree. The house was definitely a question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Um,
when they're, like, running away from death and he, like, locks the gates, and I'm like, the dude just literally showed like, he just appeared
he
in the
literally
front
appears
room, but you're locking the
in a
door,
wall
like,
of fire.
that's not gonna work, person. Like, I hate to break it to you, but I think he's gonna get in anyway. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Um, Characters I really didn't like. I don't think I really disliked anyone, really.
So, characters I really liked Moira. I feel like I would like to see and hear a lot more from her, but it doesn't really get set up that that's what's gonna happen.
She almost feels like a passing ship.
Yeah. But yeah, she was probably one of the richest kind of, "Oh, I need to know more about you. You're really interesting," like and also, what's your relationship to death? Because why were you tasked with marking her for
Mm,
him? Like, what have you done that he's making you do that kind of thing?
yeah, because she didn't have to mark her.
No, and she was like, "I can take it away." But then you
Yeah,
obviously then you understand that the marks actually have, um, like, a power
benefits.
in them, and
Or the eyeball does anyway.
yeah, and assuming there's gonna be more things that will come from that. But yeah, I really liked her. Really just I felt like Death was really lazily written, like some
Yeah.
shiny guy in a suit, like, really?
And I think that's why I because normally with the villain, you're like, "Oh my God, I hate them." But I didn't feel like that because I was a bit like, he's
Yeah. He
he
just
doesn't actually really feel like a threat, to be
and also the
honest.
way he was written, he felt like a Las Vegas magician, like, that's all the picture, like, I just had this picture of, like, Siegfried from Siegfried and Roy, like, in this shiny suit and, like, white hair, like, I
Just
was
jazz hands.
yeah, like, okay, maybe that's what she meant
Yeah.
to do, but I was like, I don't really
Maybe.
get this guy." But anyway, I wasn't a fan of him. I did actually really like Evander once I kind of let go of the whole, um you know, my expectations of high fantasy thing.
Yeah.
I did actually really I was quite drawn to him. I think he's someone who did something because he thought he was the right thing to do, but
Yeah.
actually sort of had instant regret instant regret.
Yeah.
Um,
Completely backfired.
and then when he meets, Kat, realizes, like, actually, did he even love Original Woman, or was it just,
Yeah.
young love and, like, when you're so young, you do stupid things, and now he's kind of gotta pay this consequence for well, until his debt is
Ever.
paid. The debt thing
Yeah.
also annoyed me. I'm like, "What is the debt?
What is the debt?
Like, is it
And
a
how is
percentage or something?"
4,000 gold but how, like, how is 4,000 gold coins going to pay off most of his debt when he's been doing it for centuries
Yeah, and
and
every
gets, like,
day
silver coins?
yeah, I don't know, and why can't you convert the silver coins into gold coins when you get
And,
enough? I don't know. There was a lot of questions, like, is there a bank in the between? But yeah, there's lots of like, Shani, will you be reading the next book?
Probably not.
It's
I
gonna
just don't know that I care enough
yeah.
because her decision at the end as well to go without him to go and find her mum, like, you just knew it was gonna be a trap. I also didn't understand the death's deal offer. Sure, he couldn't touch her apparently, because every time he tried to grab her, he was thrown off by some unseen force. However, that doesn't mean that she couldn't be captured and taken to the underworld in a cage. Like, so I don't understand this deal he tried to make with her, and then he's booby trapped it anyway. Like, what? What? I just don't actually know that I care enough to carry on with the rest. You'll have to read the next book if you're going to read it and tell me if it's worth it.
I think she's clearly a good writer, so I think I'd be interested to see what she writes in that afterworld. I'm also interested in all those points that you just made, which is like the ultimate cliffhanger is she gets to her house and Death standing there waiting for her. Duh.
Yeah,
What happens?
surprise.
he can't touch her, so how's he getting her to the afterlife? Do they just have a, like, brief conversation? Like, what's the go sort of thing?
Yeah. "Oh, hey, so actually you're my kid,
Yeah.
and I had an affair with your mum." Like,
However, I will put a massive caveat. If the next one comes up and it's like 19 hours of reading time, I will not be participating in the book. If it's another one like this, I would read
yeah,
it. Yeah, I think
yeah.
it would be a decent sort of palate cleanser. And yeah, I'm curious to know kind of where she
Know
takes
what
it.
happened.
I did like her writing. I thought it was quite pretty, and also I really like the shadows.
Yeah.
I want to
I'm
see
sort of
how.
seeing Key and Storm again.
Yeah, I wanna see if she can take
Yeah.
Pinky and Stormy to the afterworld with us. Fun. Let's do scores on the doors. Oh,
I did actually I was torn because, like you said, the writing is good. I did like her writing style. But yeah, because I was gonna go lower originally, because like I said, I just by the end, I didn't care.
yeah.
But I think I was just being harsh because I did really like her writing style. I did like a lot of elements of the book. So yeah, I'm going 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Zara?
I went 4 out of 5. If I could have done halves on Goodread, maybe I would have been about, like, a 3.5, but I do think the 4 comes with that caveat, which I've said a few times. As long as you don't go into this thinking high fantasy, I think it's an enjoyable book. So it's back to me to
Yes.
choose. So you are actually allowed. I've got 3 books and I cannot decide
Okay.
one. So I have them here and I have selection number 1, selection number 2, or selection number 3. And basically you can choose 1, 2, or 3, Shani, and then I'll tell you
Do you want me to just choose a number?
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Let's
'Cause I've got
go.
them all and I really wanna read them all. I think that also you will enjoy them. I have triple checked that you haven't read them, which is an effort in itself given how many books you read, so
Well, I think it's gonna be the same with you now.
yeah, it is, to be fair. Especially now with buddy reading, we'll be like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah. Oh, we both read that. Um, let's go 3.
Oh, it's the big one.
It's the big one.
So, we are gonna read The Ascended, and interestingly, it is by the author of Riftborn, or the authors.
Oh,
There's 2 authors, Bree Greenwich and Parker Lennox, and the synopsis is a part of the Sundered Realms extended universe. Revenge demands the ultimate sacrifice. When twins Thias and Thatcher are thrust into the deadly trials of ascension, they'll navigate brutal competitions and forbidden desires, discovering some secrets are worth dying for and others are worth killing for. In a world where divine power meets the mortal realm, Thias Morvain has mastered the art of deception. So I won't read any more of that. This has been absolutely all over TikTok, for me anyway, in the people that I follow. I trust a couple of really good TikTok reviewers who have both said it's like God tier for 2025. It's
oh, interesting.
it's a good choice. But yes, so therefore there concludes our Buddy Reads review of A Vow of Shadows by Ella Blackstowe even.
Insta, I
Blackenstowe,
think.
sorry.
I can
Thank you for joining us. Make sure to go follow us on the Instagrams. We're part2_book club. We're also on the TikToks, part2 book club. Come chat, let us know what you think, leave comments on whatever platform you enjoy. And thanks so much for coming along. Love you, Shani.
love you, Mosey.